Good morning. I'm Carl with the Hondo Public Library. One of the first concepts we learn in Texas history are the Six Flags of Texas, referring to the six nations that once had control over the land that is now our state. But what if I told you that that's not exactly an accurate figure? Today we're going to take a look at some of the more obscure flags that flew over Texas. The flag that currently flies over Texas is the flag of the United States. The 13 stripes represent the 13 original colonies, and there is a star on the flag for each state. And that right there is the key to our first technicality. The U.S. flag changes every time a new state is added to the Union, which hasn't happened for a while, but it used to happen frequently around the time Texas was admitted into the Union. Counting all of these changes and ignoring the two changes made during the Confederacy's claim over Texas, this equates to 17 distinct U.S. flags flying over Texas. Furthermore, the patterns of the stars weren't standardized until the 48-star flag. So, for example, the 33-star flag adopted when Oregon joined the Union had 4 attested variants. During the short time that it existed, the Confederacy also made changes to its flag as well. The Confederacy's first flag was the so-called Stars and Bars, which was changed a total of 4 times to account for new states seceding and joining the Confederacy. A call for a more distinct flag was made, and so the so-called Stainless Banner was used, featuring the Confederate battle flag on a white background. But the thing about flying a white flag in wartime is that it looks like you're surrendering. So eventually a small change was made, and the so-called Bloodstained Banner was adopted as the national flag. Just a little bit less like surrender, but ironically, by the time this flag was adopted, the Confederacy had already been sliced in two by Grant and Sherman, and the end was near. Go back to the very beginning of Texas history, and the idea of nation-states and official flags becomes a little blurry. During the brief time when France claimed parts of Texas in the 1680s, no official French flag existed. The flag commonly depicted is a white background with many golden fleur-de-lis on it. The fleur-de-lis is the common symbol of France's monarchy. And indeed, this was the royal standard, the personal symbol of the House of Bourbon. When the French regained possession of Louisiana Territory in 1800, after having briefly lost it to Spain and Britain, the monarchy was no more, and France had been organized into the First French Republic. With this reorganization came a proper national flag, the French tricolor, symbolizing the 3 values of égalité, liberté, and fraternité. Tiny bits of the future state of Texas were located in French Louisiana, and this means this counts as another flag that flew over Texas. France's claims over Texas were always very limited. The dominant colonial player here was always Spain. There are 3 flags associated with the Spanish era, which lasted from the late 1600s until 1821. The castle and lion arms of the Crown of Castile was the first, used contemporaneously along with the Cross of Burgundy, which was used for military and sailing purposes. And again, neither of these were official national flags. That wouldn't come until King Charles III, no, not that one, King Charles III introduced an imperial flag in 1785, containing horizontal stripes of red, gold, red, and the simple arms of Castile and Leon. During the Spanish era, Texas was always a frontier province, far removed from the imperial cores of New Spain. When the Mexican War of Independence broke out in 1810, some Americans, believing fully in the idea of manifest destiny, saw an opportunity. A filibuster, also known as a freebooter, is someone who engages in unauthorized military expedition into a foreign country or territory. The term is usually applied to those from the United States who incited insurrection with the goal of establishing an American-loyal regime in Latin America. From 1812 to 1813, the men of the Gutierrez-McGee expedition controlled land from San Antonio to Nacogdoches and Goliad, sometimes called the First Republic of Texas. The flag they carried was a solid green banner, supposedly chosen to honor the Irish ancestry of leader Augustus McGee. The next major expedition was the Long Expedition, led by filibuster James Long. They controlled only the town of Nacogdoches, but their biggest contribution to Texas was not political, but vexillological. Say that word 3 times fast. Long flew 2 different flags, both featuring the first appearance of the Texas Lone Star. This flag is often called the Jane Long flag, named in honor of his wife. There was another variant, the James Long flag, that looks almost identical to the flag of the United States, and this more familiar flag was flown to garner more American support for the expedition, which of course failed. While the United States and Mexico were trying to secure land from Spain, Spain tried to protect the coast using the help of French privateers, including Louis Michel Ory and Jean Lafitte. Louis Michel was appointed governor of Galveston by the Spanish and flew this flag. Jean Lafitte eventually tried to turn Galveston into a smuggling base and briefly established a pirate colony. This was the flag that he flew. The nation of Mexico was able to secure independence from Spain in 1821. But writing new systems of government is hard. Initially, all they did was replace the King of Spain with a more local King of Mexico, Agustin I. This initial flag reflected this. All of the other elements were there, the green, white, and red tricolor representing the three guarantees, religion, independence, and unity, as well as the eagle holding a snake perched on a cactus in the middle of the lake, the founding myth of the Aztec city of Tenochtitlan, later Mexico City. But that eagle, for 3 years, wore a little crown on his head. When the monarchy was done away with the Constitution of 1824, the eagle lost its headwear and Mexico gained its modern flag. During this era, Texas was a state not of the U.S., but of the First Mexican Republic. The state flag of Texas y Coahuila had the Mexican tricolor with 2 center stars to represent the 2 constituent parts of the state. The First Mexican Republic inherited the problem of Americans trying to wrestle away their land. A white settler rebellion in 1829, the Fredonian Rebellion, I did a video on this actually, go check it out, produced this flag. The white and red stripes symbolized a proposed alliance between the white settlers and the Cherokee. This stripe motif was combined with the Lone Star from the Long Rebellion, as well as the Bonnie Blue flag, a flag associated with the short-lived Republic of West Florida, to become our modern Texas state flag. This flag was used by the Texas Republic as well, although it was not the first flag used. The so-called Burn It flag was used before our modern flag was adopted, and it took more direct inspiration from the Bonnie Blue flag. Previously, there was also a de facto national flag that wasn't official, but everyone used it as a national flag, and this was just the James Long flag. After the establishment of the Republic, several variants, including the Revenue Service flag, the Coasting Trader ensign, and this pilot flag / civil ensign were used. This last one is actually similar to a proposed design for a flag of the governor of Texas, although it has not passed and been made official. And of course, there are the flags that were used during the Revolution. None of these were official national flags, but rather symbols to rally behind. The most famous of these is the Come and Take It flag, used at the Battle of Gonzales in 1835, and the Bloody Arm flag, the flag flown over the Goliad Declaration of Independence. Lesser known are the Alamo flag, which was the Mexican tricolor with the year 1824 printed on it, a reference to the Constitution of 1824 that the settlers wanted to return to. The brown flag of independence, featuring that bloody arm with the more American motif and the word independence, kind of ruining the whole subtlety of the symbolism. The Dotson tricolor, which apparently Stephen Austin himself didn't like because he thought the symbolism and parallels to the French Revolution were a little too heavy-handed. Although the flag he proposed wasn't much better, because this thing is a mess. The Union Jack there is a reference to the Anglo ethnicity of most of the settlers. This was a proposed flag made by Lorenzo de Zavala at the conference in Washington on the Bravos. This is another variant of what that could have been. Eventually the rainbow and the other star were dropped in favor of just the lone star with the little word Texas around it. Again, if you have to write your name on your flag, you probably haven't done a good job at conveying the symbolism. And this flag, which supposedly flew at the Battle of San Jacinto. There's that Union Jack again, as well as what could be Irish. I don't know. I can barely find notes on these flags. All of these were used maybe one time ever and are only known from descriptions and notes taken down. This flag has flown over Texas ever since, barring an embarrassing few years where we flew a Confederate variant with 15 stars for the 15 slave states. The Texas Flag Code assigns the following official symbolism to the colors of the Texas flag. Blue stands for loyalty, white for purity, and red for bravery. The code also states that the single Lone Star represents all of Texas and stands for our unity as one for God, state, and country. Long may this flag wave over our state. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next month for our next chapter of Monday Memories.